So you're tired of being poor? Well, you came to the right place. Today I am sharing 5 money habits that are going to keep you poor or broke so that you can actually break those habits and become financially free and retire when you want to. I'm Tiffany Thomas with WealthyTiffany.com, and if you're ready to dive in, hit that like button and we're going to get started. All right, habit number 1 is pretty obvious that it will keep you poor because it is actually spending more than you make. More than half of Americans spend more money than they earn, which is super scary. So we really need to break this habit because this one will definitely keep you poor if you keep spending money that you don't actually have. And this habit basically has a lot to do with just not tracking your money, not understanding how much is actually coming in and how much is going out. So if you can actually start to track your money, you'll be able to break this habit pretty quickly. And the way I like to track my money is through using a free app. It's called Personal Capital. When you start tracking your money, you can actually see, oh, I only have this amount coming in, and yet I have all of these expenses, all of these things that I'm spending money on, and I'm spending more than I actually make. So once you can kind of get a clear picture on your money situation, it gives you that awareness of the problems with your finances. So if you are not into setting up a spreadsheet and writing down exactly how much is coming in each month and how much is going out, if that kind of seems daunting to you or you just don't want to do it, I would really recommend using a free app to do it. And you can hook all of your financial institutions to it so you can see all of your credit cards or your checking or savings, and you can get a quick overlook of your entire financial picture by just logging into the app and letting it update for about 30 seconds or so. And you can see, oh, okay, yeah, I've spent a little more than I wanted to in this area. Maybe I went out to eat too much this month. And you can check this every day to make sure your bills are getting paid and make sure you're on track to spend less than you actually make. And when you're spending more than you make, it could be tied to one of these 4 other habits. So let's move to habit number 2. This one is not having a plan for your money as soon as you get it, or even better, before you get it. When you start planning ahead with your money, you can really become wealthier instead of staying poor, because there won't be as much of a temptation to spend it on something that really isn't important to you or just something frivolous, because you'll already know where that money is allocated to. So you know how much you'll need to spend on rent and on your cell phone bill, and you can have an amount for any fun things you want to do if you want to go to a play when they start having plays again, or going to a movie. And one thing that I really like about having a plan for your money when you get it is that you can set up automatic investments. For example, if you haven't already set up your 401k with your work, you can do that and have a certain amount that comes out each month automatically. So you aren't even thinking about it, which gets rid of the temptation entirely because you don't even see that money. You can also set up auto transfers to transfer money to your savings account, and then you can save up for an emergency fund or a trip that you want to take, whatever it is that you want to plan ahead for. And just to give you an example, I did a presentation a while ago, and I had mentioned setting up these automatic transfers ahead of time. And a girl in the audience, she sent me a message after the presentation and said, I went straight to the bank and set up an auto transfer to my savings account every month. And I talked to her a little while ago, and she had said she's so glad she did that because she had all of this money in her savings account that she didn't even have to think about. She didn't have to think about transferring it over or think, oh, I have so much in my checking account, I can spend more this month, and not even know really where she spent it. But since she set up that auto transfer, she has this savings account now. She has this emergency fund or this fund that she can use to take a trip, whatever she wants. But having a plan for your money before you even get it really makes a huge difference. If you are going to have a plan for your money, then comment below and say, have a plan. Or even if you already have a plan for your money, that is awesome. So comment below, have a plan. And let's move to habit number 3, which is not saving your money or not saving enough money. As I'm sure you've seen in the world, if it hasn't hit you directly, there is a need to have an emergency fund. There's a need to save some of our money so that we can create a buffer in case something unexpected comes up. Because if you don't have that buffer, then you will definitely stay poor. because unexpected expenses come up all the time. And if we don't have some way to pay for those expenses when they happen, we are going to accumulate debt and continue to stay poor. And just to share a quick example with you, I was working with someone who had a whole bunch of different debts, and we organized them all and decided which ones to pay off first. And we were working on this debt payoff plan. But I had told her I think it's a really good idea to set up some type of emergency fund, some type of buffer in case something goes wrong, in case something unexpected happens. And she was really excited about paying off her debt, which is great. But she decided to pay off her debt and something unexpected did happen and she didn't have a buffer. And so now she has another debt that she has to pay off. So it's very unfortunate, but if we can really educate ourselves and become better and save some of our money for emergencies like this, we can really build our wealth instead of staying poor and getting into more and more debt. And I'm actually not one to have a huge emergency fund, but I have access to cash in other ways. It is definitely a personal preference, but make sure that you can take care of emergencies that come up. Okay, and let's move to habit number 4. And this one is not investing or not investing enough. And this is the one that I used to struggle with the most. I had plenty of money in savings. I had no problem saving money, but I wasn't a big investor. And this part is really key to becoming wealthy. Saving your money is great, and we want to have that emergency fund. But if we can invest our money, we are going to build our wealth so much faster. And I want to share a personal example with you. So I had a significant amount of money sitting in my savings account, and I eventually decided I needed to invest that money. I had a good friend that was doing really well with real estate and the stock market. But I asked him a lot of questions about real estate and did some of my own research, and had another friend who was actually a boss of mine that was also successful in real estate. And I thought, okay, I want to buy a rental property. I already had my own property, but I wanted strictly a rental investment property. So I ended up finding a condo that would be a great rental and ended up purchasing this for $121,450. And since this was going to be a rental property, I put at least 20% down on this house. So my cash out of pocket would have been $24,290. So I took that chunk of money right out of my savings account and put it toward purchasing this property. This was 5 years ago in April of 2015. So by transferring this money from my savings into an investment property, I've had to make the mortgage payments and the HOA payments and fix up anything that needed to be repaired and do some upgrades to the condo. But I was also receiving a monthly rent check. So if we subtract out what I still owe on the property and subtract out all of these expenses and add in the income that I have received over about 5 years, if I was to sell the property today, I would make a profit of $142,531. And if we want to subtract out that original investment of $24,290, then that would give me a dollar profit of $118,241. So over the period of just 5 years, I've made a return on my investment of about 387%. And I do realize not all investments go up so much so quickly, and there could be more things that go wrong with properties, and there is some work involved, but I just want to show you what is possible. So let's compare that to keeping that amount in our savings account, that $24,290. Let's say we earned a 1.5% interest rate on this amount sitting in our savings account, which is pretty generous. Because in 2015, the average savings interest rate was 0.06%, and it's gone up to 0.09% as of 2019. But I'm going to assume you were smart with your money and put that money into an online savings account, so you were earning a little bit more. All right, at the end of the 5 years, if we left that money alone in our savings account earning that 1.5% interest, we would have a total of $26,181. That's quite a bit of a difference from investing our money in a property. So if we were to subtract out that $24,290 of our original amount in savings, we would have made $1,891 on this amount, which is about a 7.8 return on our money. So hopefully you can see the drastic difference of investing our money. 387% return compared to a 7% return is a huge difference. And I get that it may not always be that much of an increase, but investing your money will make you wealthier than just saving your money. I can't emphasize this enough. So not investing will keep you poor. And this brings us to our last habit, habit number 5. And this one is not spending based on your priorities. Maybe you're not doing any of these other habits that keep you poor, and you're not seeing real improvements. And this could be why, because you're not spending your money consciously. You're not spending based on your priorities, what's important to you. If you're just spending your money on things that aren't really bringing fulfillment into your life, then you'll continue to spend money. And to share another personal example, I brought my lunch to work 99% of the time. And I actually did a video on this, so I will link to that below in the description. You can check it out if you want to. But that was just something that wasn't a priority of mine. And I had a lot of coworkers that would go out to eat every day for lunch. But by bringing my own lunch, I saved so much money that I could spend on things that were important to me. I took vacations that I loved so much. I went to Italy, I went to Paris, I went to Israel, the Caribbean, all over the place, because that was a priority of mine. I wanted to travel the world, and going out to lunch was not one of my priorities. So I didn't spend money on that. And if you continue to spend money on things that aren't really important to you, then it will keep you poor, because you'll try to become fulfilled by just spending money, and that isn't going to work. So you'll continue to spend and spend and spend and spend. But if you really sit down and take a moment and think, okay, what are my priorities? What is really important to me? What is it that I want to accomplish? What is it that I want to see? Or who do I want to spend my time with? Who do I want to become? What do I need to do in order to do that? When we ask ourselves these types of questions, then we really get to the bottom of things, and we can see, okay, yeah, I don't really want to spend my money here. I want to spend it over here. This is going to bring me joy or bring me a more fulfilling life, instead of just trying to keep up with our neighbors or our friends who have the boats, who have the jet skis, or who have the huge house or the really nice cars. If that's not something we really value, then we shouldn't be spending our money there. And if you're thinking, Tiffany, well, I don't really want to be paying rent, like I don't like spending my money on that, or I don't really want to be paying my power bill, then I have an answer for you. So start house hacking, buy a place, get some roommates, and have them pay the mortgage, plus some. And you can live free of charge. And if you're thinking, I don't want roommates, well, is it a priority or is it not? Maybe you just need to move to a smaller place that will have less rent, so you're not paying as much in rent. It honestly comes down to what you really want. What is important to you? And then start aligning your actions with your priorities, especially in regards to money. And if you don't want to pay your power bill, I honestly haven't paid my power bill for about 6 months now, because I found a free website, Arcadia Power, and if you refer 10 people, then you get a $1,000 credit on your power bill. So there's just little hacks that you can do, that you can find to stop spending money in where you don't want to be spending your money. And maybe it's just as simple as leaving your air conditioner set a little bit higher and you spend more time in the basement where it's cooler. And especially now with what's going on in the world, it is so important that we are paying attention to our money, that we are spending on what is only important to us, and really making a conscious effort to become better with our finances so that we aren't poor, we aren't broke, and we can actually build our wealth and help other people and not be a burden to anyone else. So if you change this habit and start spending based on your priorities, you are going to become a lot wealthier and have a happier life. I know when I was able to do this, I purchased another property and I eventually paid off my first property. There are huge goals that I had, and I made them a priority and started putting my money toward that instead of spending so much on clothes and just little things that didn't really bring me joy. So hopefully you can start to change these 5 habits if you have any of these habits. And comment below with the change that you are going to make starting today, so that you can stop being poor and start building your wealth to become financially free. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who needs to hear this information. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That will really help me out and we can get this content out to more people. And don't forget to hit the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And if you want to follow me over on Instagram, I post there pretty much daily, so you can check out my Instagram as well. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.